Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer McElroy and I am the principal flutist of the Allen Philharmonic Orchestra. Today I'd like to visit with you about articulation. Articulation is a word that we use to refer to the way that we start our notes. I've come up with a little saying that is kind of funny, I hope you'll think it is too, but what it does is that it imitates what our tongue will do when we begin articulating with our tongue to start our notes. The saying is two toucans in tutus. I know it's silly. Can you say it with me? Two toucans in tutus. Try it one more time. Two toucans in tutus. What that does is that imitates the way that we'll use our tongue when we're articulating when we actually use the flute. I like to think of the tongue as the drawbridge in our mouth. It's simply two falls down, or we let it release the air as we begin a note. One thing that some of you may be doing right now is beginning your notes without the tongue and saying who, who, who. Well, that's great to get your air moving, and it's a great way to practice holding your embouchure steady and to firm up your lips. We do eventually have to add the tongue to give definition to the beginning of our sound. What I'd like to do is start on an F concert, and we're going to say 2, 2, 2 while playing the note. One thing to make sure is that as you say 2, 2, 2, your tongue is doing exactly what my hand is doing. 2, 2, 2. Make note that my hand, ergo my tongue, is not ending up in my mouth. So again, that drawbridge imagery really helps. 2, 2, 2. Keep the drawbridge down to keep the air free flowing out of you. Let's do it again. 2, 2, 2. You have to be careful that you're not saying the word toot or tut. When we say the word toot or tut, we're ending with a T sound, which when you say t, t, you can feel that the tongue is at the roof of the mouth. Another thing you can do, with clean hands of course, is you can scratch the very tip of your tongue with your nail. What that does is that gives us a much more feeling in our front of our mouth and our tongue so that we can feel just which part of the tongue is moving up and down when we articulate. It also helps to ensure that we're using the very tip of our tongue and not the middle or the back of our tongue. If you're ending up hearing a thuddier articulation or something that isn't as clear as two, you may be saying thu, as in the or that or this. Any of those words that have the TH sound will end up slightly behind the tip of your tongue and will end up giving you a muddier articulation. So again, say with me our little saying, two toucans in tutus. 2, 2, 2. That is the use of our tongue for articulation. Another way to practice this to ensure that your tongue is ending down when you articulate is to breathe in immediately after you finish a note. So you'll go 2, 2, 2. Say that with me. 2, 2, 2. When we breathe in, there's no way for our tongue to end up at the top of our mouth, because if it does, we wouldn't be able to get air in. Let's try that with the flute now, on an F. Again. The next thing that you may be experiencing is a delay in the sound. So you may be getting an articulation like that. All that means is that there's a simple coordination problem going on. Usually that means that we're thinking about the tongue, releasing the tongue, and then the air is coming out. You want to make sure that the air is behind the tongue and ready to release as soon as that tongue comes down. One more time. So right then I make sure that my air is ready to go right behind the tongue for the release. Another problem you may be having is that maybe you have the articulation down and you understand how two works. But when you start playing, it may sound, when you're playing your scales, unclean. It could be a problem with the fingers not moving at the right time, or it could be that your tongue and your fingers are not coordinating with each other. One way that I like to prevent this is I like to practice my scales, but in a way where I'm fingering the note, then I play. Switch to the next fingering, then play. Switch to the next fingering, and then play. Let me demonstrate. I'll demonstrate on the F major scale. So you'll see I'm switching my fingers before I even begin the note. That way I am allowing my tongue to understand its job, my fingers to understand its job, and then the next step would be to make sure that I put them together. Now I'll do the same scale without the gap in between. That is a really great exercise in any scale, especially one where you feel like you might have some fingering issues in that one that may be giving you trouble. One example is when we play that F major scale in the second octave. Right around there, our D, E, F, making sure our fingers are coordinated. That can sometimes come out as a crack in the note, and we may think it's our articulation. However, it's simply a coordination issue. I hope you'll find these tips helpful in your practicing, and I wish you luck in all of your flute endeavors.